Yo brothers, check this crazy thing out. I just built a next-level gaming beast that's gonna blow your mind and wreck whatever you thought you knew about the price of a monster like this in 2025. In the best way possible, of course, my dudes. How did I pull off a badass build for cheap? Well, screw cheap. Let's call it fair. At least compared to those 5 to 7k euro freak builds some people flex online. All it took was a crap ton of homework, digging through benchmarks, comparing brands, checking every damn spec twice. Before ordering the parts and putting this bad boy together, I set myself just 2 goals. Play in 4K Ultra. Record my Let's Plays through OBS in the absolute cleanest quality, without the whole thing dying on me mid-game. Separately, that's easy, but doing both on the same machine? Yeah, that took some serious digging into what hardware can really do. And now I've got the answer to the big 2025 showdown. Intel or AMD, Nvidia or Radeon, liquid cooling or a tower cooler the size of Trump Tower. No more, what if I pick something a bit cheaper? Screw that noise. I went all in on the top gear of summer 2025 at the best prices I could find, straight from Amazon Germany. And with the cash I saved from my original budget, I treated myself to some sweet extras. Wireless Razer Black Shark V2 Pro headphones with that signature 7.1 surround, an official Xbox wireless controller, and a charging dock, so I'm not messing with cables ever again. The unboxing for that gear is at the very end of this video, so don't even think about leaving early. Sounds good? Damn right it does. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, or whatever else you love stuffing your face with during videos like this. And I'm hitting flash mode so you don't start yawning halfway through. But first, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and share this video with your crew. I put in a ton of work to film all this, so hit those damn buttons for me. Let's get this Monster Gaming PC 2025 ordered and built. Alright guys, we're on Amazon.de. Let's kick off our Monster PC build with the processor. And here, I went with the Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. Why Intel? Because they've got the best hardware video codecs out there, working perfectly with their iGPU. Why Core Ultra 7? Because it's a top-tier 20-core CPU, and I'm not throwing an extra 200 euros just for 4 more cores, and maybe a 5% performance bump with the Ultra 9. Yeah, no thanks. And why the 265K? First, it's got an unlocked multiplier for my future overclocking plans. Second, it's packing next-gen integrated graphics, exactly what I need for recording my Let's Plays without putting extra load on the GPU. Moving on to the motherboard. Remember, Intel's Core Ultra series needs the new LGA 1851 socket. For that, we're going with the latest Z890 chipset. It packs all the modern goodies, PCI Express 5.0 for both the GPU and NVMe SSDs, plus DDR5 running at crazy high clocks. And yeah, that really matters since we're building a monster gaming PC. Brand-wise, I'm picking AsRock, a legit maker when you care less about brand hype and more about raw quality and overclocking headroom at a sane price. Within their lineup, there's a tempting cheaper pick, Phantom Gaming Riptide with a single PCI Express X16 slot. And there's the pricier one with 2 PCI Express X16 slots, the AsRock Nova from the same Phantom Gaming family. It even includes an add-in card for 4 NVMe drives for that second X16 slot. Huge for me, because my Let's Play recordings chew through a ton of space. Next up, the RAM. DDR5 with 64 gigs, so our Core Ultra 7 has plenty to chew on during rendering and screen recording. I'm a big fan of Corsair. Their sticks have never let me down. And that's important when overclocking is part of the plan. Since we picked a badass motherboard with a RGB lighting, our RAM should also have a RGB. We're going with vengeance. 2 options here. 6,000 MHz with CL30 timings, or 6,400 MHz with CL32. Both are solid, but we're taking the 6,400. It's the max our Ultra 7 supports out of the box. And of course, it comes with an Intel XMP profile for future overclocking. For those not in the know, 2 sticks are always better than 1. That way you enable dual channel mode, which is way faster than single channel. Now for the power supply. There are 3 things you need to know about PSUs. First, noise level. For me, the quietest fan on the market comes from Be Quiet. Their signature fans are just the best. Second, wattage. This one's simple. Figure out how much juice your CPU, motherboard, and the hungriest beast in your rig, the GPU, are pulling. Add another 20 to 30% on top for overclocking and future upgrades, and you've got your target PSU wattage. Third, efficiency rating. You've got bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and titanium. My pick? The Be Quiet Power Zone 2 Platinum rated at 1 kilowatt. Straight up the best you can get for the money. And here we come to the most painful choice, the graphics card. Why painful? First, you always want more for less money. Second, you never really know how much you actually need for all your plans. In other words, do you go for a 5090 or is a 5060 enough? One thing I can say for sure, this summer of 2025, Radeon clearly lost the arms race, giving up the crown to NVIDIA, the first to move to faster DDR7 memory. I can also add that the baseline RTX 5060 just won't cut it for my 4K max settings Let's Plays. Even the titanium version with 16 gigs of VRAM. All because of its baby 128-bit bus, which completely nullifies the advantage of all that fast DDR7. So, gritting my teeth and throwing in an extra €200, I'm taking the RTX 5070 with 12 gigs of memory and a 192-bit bus. That gives me roughly a 35% boost in performance overall and more overclocking potential. Here, my pick is the MSI GeForce RTX 5070 Trio with an excellent cooling radiator. Time to pick the case for our monster PC. My choice here is the Be Quiet Shadow Base 800FX. Why? Because it looks absolutely gorgeous. Tempered glass, ARGB lighting, and 4 built-in signature silent 140mm fans. This isn't just a case, it's a work of art. And the best part, there's no annoying inner glow from the fans, just a clean ring of light around them. That's German-level quality, my friends. On top of that, the case is huge and has excellent airflow. Exactly what I want for future overclocking. A must-have. Now for the monitor. Beyond screen size and resolution, there are 3 extra specs to watch. First, gray-to-gray response time, lower is better. Second, refresh rate, higher is better. Third, color accuracy. And don't be a noob, get one with HDR10 support. My pick is the MSI Mag 274 UPF-E2, a 27-inch model. It's got a gray-to-gray response time of 0.5 milliseconds, lightning fast. Runs 4K at 160 Hz, full HDR10 support and 133% color space coverage. And yes, it uses a next-gen fast IPS panel. Overall, the best gamer's choice for the money. And what about CPU cooling? This time, I'm going with a liquid cooling system from Thermalright. Why this brand? Because aside from those crazy people selling their systems for 300 to 350 euros, it's the only one that comes with an LCD display showing your CPU temperature. And as a bonus, you can even display GPU temps too. That's way better than having just some glowing ARGB top that shows nothing useful. No idea why, but the model with the round display doesn't have lit fans, which is weird. And the one with the square display? Not cool. Looks dumb. Nothing like Iron Man's arc reactor. Alright, for now I'm adding the Core Vision 360 Black. If I find it later, I'll swap it for the ARGB version. I've got a bad feeling, guys. Our awesome monster gaming PC won't even run. And it really won't, unless we add an SSD right now. Let's pick it the right way. That means we need an NVMe drive running on a PCI Express 5.0 bus. This bus is exactly twice as fast as the previous generation, which means Windows will run lightning fast. Samsung? Still coasting on their brand without offering anything special. Western Digital? Yeah, the speed's great. But the price? Nope. The humble Crucial T705 2TB, a sweet spot in both price and performance. Grab it without thinking. Although you should always think, especially about this, if you don't have a badass motherboard like mine, with a built-in M.2 heatsink, you need to look for drives that come with heatsinks included. Otherwise, before you even finish installing Windows, your drive will overheat and start smoking. Our setup is looking almost perfect, but it bugs me that inside our bright and beautiful case, the liquid cooling fans are just plain black. Not cool, my brothers. Let's fix that right now. So we're adding the Thermalright Core Vision 360 with RGB fans. And here it is, the Beast. The model with colorful fan lighting I've been hunting for so long. Sure, it's not the sweet German-made fans from Be Quiet with their slick color ring, but it's still pretty damn good. Now our monster will shine from every angle. Our top-tier PC order is coming to a natural close, and just look at the total. Way cheaper than those pre-made rigs for 5,000 to 7,000 euros, the clowns with manufacturer ad budgets keep showing off, right? I mean, do you really think any of them would throw in a motherboard with a Z890 chipset, supporting 256 gigs of RAM running at a mind-blowing up to 9,600 megahertz? Yeah, didn't think so. The last thing in our Monster Madness build, something I can't leave to the liquid cooling manufacturer, is thermal paste for our central processor. I know Thermalright includes their own paste in the box, but I also know there's nothing better than the time-tested Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. Yeah, it's pricey, but this is paste that holds, and holds for years. We add it and we can relax. The hardware part is done. Time for some fun, my friends, and like I promised, with the money saved on our smart setup, I'm ordering some gaming gear. First on the list, an Xbox controller. Not some cheap wired knockoff from China, but the real wireless deal from Microsoft. Yeah, finding it on Amazon among all that knockoff junk isn't easy. But it's worth it. The difference in compatibility is huge. Do I want my controller to drop connection mid-Let's Play right when some boss is about to wreck me? No way. That's not happening. So we pay the fair 60 euros for the genuine model and never worry about losing connection with Windows, no matter what. One thing I'll never get, what's the deal with batteries in Microsoft's controllers? Why not just pack a proper rechargeable battery that actually holds power, holds it for a long time? Either way, we're fixing this with a Venom docking station. That kills two birds with one stone. No crappy cable sticking out of the controller, and you get a rechargeable battery included with the wireless charging dock. And yeah, for those who like to play co-op, or for the rage quitters who might smash their controller against the wall, Venom also makes a dual controller dock. And it's not much more expensive. Oh man, I almost forgot two really important things. How am I supposed to scroll through Steam's game store? And how am I gonna type in my nickname? Gotta fix that, brothers. We're urgently adding a wireless keyboard and mouse, both running on a single USB stick. I'm deliberately going with radio versions instead of Bluetooth, so there's zero chance of interference with my Xbox controller. Sure, the risk of interference is tiny, but better to rule it out completely. And for dessert, let's order what I promised you at the very start. The wireless Razer Black Shark V2 Pro headphones. I probably spent more time choosing these cans than any other part of my monster build. But this headset was absolutely worth it. Monstrously powerful yet crystal clear sound, bursting from 50mm titanium drivers. And their signature 7.1 surround system leaves no chance for an enemy hiding in the bushes. And yes, the mic on these headphones is straight up legendary. It beats every known competitor today. This gaming headset is the bold exclamation mark in my setup. But maybe we still need one more thing, at least if we don't want to screw in all the bolts of our monster PC with our fingernails. So let's not be noobs and grab a toolkit that actually fits our needs. No, not circular saws. Unless your goal is to cut your noisy neighbor to pieces. But no, I'm going with the Jurist 152 toolset. It's got everything you might need during the build. A screwdriver with magnetic bits and a plastic organizer case. The dream of any geek. Alright, that's everything we need for some serious fun. This time, this is really the end game. And as you've seen, I didn't hold back on anything. Well, except maybe the graphics card. But just like in everything else, you've got to keep a cool head and balance real needs with common sense. I'm very curious to see what the GeForce RTX 5070 with 12 gigs can actually do. And what kind of real overclocking potential it has. If it doesn't live up to my expectations, I can always wait for the upcoming Radeon 10,000 series cards, whose specs promise to be really hot. I just hope their prices won't be as hot as Nvidia's. As for the Core Ultra 7 I picked, I believe it'll be more than enough for the next few years, most of the time just chilling and staying cool. though I'm really curious how its iGPU will handle 4K video processing at max settings. So my friends, shall we place the order? Or maybe we should check the order one more time. Haha! You always get that little rush before hitting the proceed to checkout button. And no, your eyes aren't lying to you. My monster PC cost me only €2,854.45. That crazy saving is the result of my brain power at work. And now, with a calm soul, we move on to placing the order. Boom! You blinked and the whole order is already on my desk. Yeah, for you it was just a moment. But for me, it was the longest 2 weeks of my life. I'm just glad everything arrived. And arrived safe and sound. As a bonus, I also grabbed a card reader from Amazon with support for a ton of memory cards. You can see it on the left. Alright, let's start building our monster. Hardcore begins. Time for our motherboard to shine. Guys, I've never once regretted ordering this one. It's absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, check out the expansion card for 4 solid-state drives right out of the box. And here's our fighter, the Core Ultra 7. And shame on Intel for that pathetic packaging. What even is this box? Looks like it got pulled straight out of someone's ass. As long as Intel treats their product boxes like this, AMD will keep owning them. Because the way you perceive a product starts with the box. Only after that come the tech, the numbers, and the benchmarks. And when you drop the CPU into the socket, double-check its orientation. The little arrow on the corner of the processor must line up with the marking on the socket. That's crucial, unless you want a barbecue. And since we're already talking about crucial, it's the perfect time to install our ultra-fast solid-state drive. Don't forget to peel off the protective stickers from the thermal pads on both sides of the heatsink. And just a reminder, if your motherboard doesn't have a built-in heatsink on the M2 slot, then make sure to buy your 5th generation solid-state drive with its own heatsink included. Otherwise, it's barbecue time again. Time to install our blazing fast Corsair memory. And since we want it running in dual-channel mode, we've got to install it the right way. Not like clueless bumpkins. If you've got 2 sticks like me, open up slots 2 and 4. At least that's how it works on my motherboard. Don't be lazy. Read the manual for your own board before installing. When installing, line up the notches. The one on the stick and the one in the slot must match. Trying to push it in the wrong way can damage the module. Take your time and double check. No hammer required. It sticks in smoothly and easily. No lubrication needed. And once it's fully seated, the latches will click in by themselves. Now let's deal with installing the mounts for the liquid cooling system. There's nothing complicated here. Just read the manual and don't mix up the parts that are meant for your specific processor. Time to unbox the liquid cooling system itself. And you know what, guys? This was the first and last time I ever bought a water cooler. For 2 reasons. First, tests showed its actual cooling performance isn't better and sometimes even worse than those classic Trump towers, as I like to call big air coolers. Why? Because inside this radiator, you don't have refrigerant like in an AC unit or a fridge. It's just plain antifreeze solution. So what flows through those 2 tubes is basically liquid that's only slightly cooler than room temperature, kept in check by 3 cheap fans. Second, I cursed everything while wiring up the fan lighting and power chains. And this I'll never understand. If the fans are already mounted on the radiator at the factory, then why the hell not combine their power and lighting into 2 clean daisy chains? Instead of leaving 100 messy plug combinations for the user to figure out. Let's install our motherboard inside the case. Reminder, we've already installed the processor, the solid-state drive, and the memory. So all that's left is to gently seat the board onto the pre-installed standoffs and screw it down. Big respect to Be Quiet for that. No messing around with ATX mounts. And please don't jab your screwdriver all over the board. Work precisely and carefully so you don't damage any components or traces. Now it's time to install our Platinum Beauty, the 1 kilowatt power supply from Be Quiet. Nothing tricky here. But in the future, when working with cases like the Be Quiet Shadow Base 800FX, I might first plug in all the cables to the power supply before fastening it to the case. The reason is simple. Be Quiet designed a really nice shroud that hides the power supply from view. But that same shroud makes it harder to connect the cables later on. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. I'm just lucky my fingers don't look like a trucker's sausages. Otherwise, there's no way I'd be able to reach those power supply connectors. And this is where the pain begins. Hooking up the liquid cooling system for the processor. I won't even comment on it. The process of chaining together all the fan lighting and power connectors into 2 closed loops still haunts me in nightmares. Here, I'm adding the final touches, routing the case cables to the motherboard. We've got external lighting, USB Type-C, and even Type-A. And by the way, I love Be Quiet for giving full USB 3.2 support on all their front ports. That's seriously cool. And finally, we're installing our liquid cooler. Let's give the processor a solid coat of Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut thermal paste. The key thing, don't leave any dry spots. This paste isn't a gel, so you can't just drop a pea-sized blob and expect it to spread evenly under the pressure of the cold plate. And here I have to mention the third downside of this liquid cooler. Its cold plate is fixed with only 2 mounting points instead of 4, which would have been more logical and reliable. And the process of securing it, well, I wouldn't wish that even on an enemy. Overall, Thermalright's product is not something I'd want to buy again. Now it's time to unbox the MSI monitor. Nothing tricky here. And honestly, guys, this monitor satisfied me 100%. A flawless choice for the money. Bravo, MSI. Of course, they could have included a DisplayPort cable in the box instead of just HDMI. Well, that's pretty much it. Time to peel off the protective films from the shiny motherboard and get our rig ready for installing the GeForce RTX 5070. All you need here is a pair of 8-pin VGA cables from the power supply, merged through the adapter that ends in a 12VH power connector, the one that comes in the box with our MSI Gaming Trio. Run the cables back to the power supply, and then remember, you'll only reach it with some serious effort. And if, like me, you installed the power supply first and only later started plugging in cables, then make sure you connect the VGA leads into the proper VGA sockets, and that your CPU gets its power from the dedicated CPU-labeled connectors. So yeah, grab a flashlight, double-check everything, and don't mess it up. Otherwise, you're headed straight for a big beta boom. And if you want to play it extra safe, like I did, make your first boot without the graphics card installed. That way, you'll definitely save yourself some nerves. But this will only work if, just like me, you wisely picked a processor with integrated graphics. That lets you hook the monitor directly to the motherboard. Cool? Cool. So, first boot successful. Temps are normal, fans are spinning just fine. The system detects the solid-state drive. Both memory sticks are recognized, which means I didn't screw up anywhere. Now with peace of mind, we can finally install our GeForce 5070. First, do a quick test fit with the slot covers to see which ones need to be unscrewed. Then unwrap our GeForce, strip it of all protective films and plugs. and slide it right into that tight little slot without a hint of hesitation. Got the card in? Oh yeah, went in like it was made for that slot. Now don't forget to stick the power cable into it as well, through that 12VH power adapter, or whatever the hell they call it. And the last thing we need to slot in and screw down today is our PCI Express expansion card for 4 solid-state drives. I don't have the extra drives yet, but I'm installing the card right away. So later, it'll just be a quick click and the drive is in. And that's it, folks. Our monster PC is fully assembled. Time for the second boot, this one with the monitor plugged into the graphics card. Do we have a picture? Yes, we do. Everything's running smooth. Launch is nominal. Scratch that. The launch is absolutely epic. Time to install Windows. And yeah, my friends, don't be cheap. Install only a licensed copy of Windows. That way you can be sure your system isn't stuffed with junk slowing everything down. Otherwise, you'll be the one saying, hey, why is my Core Ultra 7 with 64 gigs of DDR5 memory running like a snail? And one more thing, pick your Windows version wisely. For example, I went with Windows 11 Home. Why? Because I don't give a damn about all those extra network functions in the Pro version. As you know, unnecessary software can really drag the system down. You won't believe it, but Windows installed in just a couple of minutes. This PC is lightning fast. Just respect my cable management and I'm closing the side panel. Everything is built simply perfectly. And hey, if you're like me and wondering why the Wi-Fi in your brand new PC seems kinda crappy, don't grab an axe and smash it to pieces just yet. Check the motherboard box first. There's usually a small, humble antenna in there that boosts both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth signals tenfold. And here it is, my wireless headset, the Razer Black Shark V2 Pro. The unboxing I promised you from the very beginning. No extra words needed. These headphones and this mic are just divine. Here's my wireless Xbox controller from Microsoft. I'm glad I didn't cheap out and went for the original product. And this is the wireless docking station from Venom. No more cables, brothers. Just drop your controller on the station and it charges up. That's it, my friends. The setup of my monster PC is finally complete. And honestly, it was hell of a job. Not so much building the rig, but video editing and recording the voiceover. So if you still, for whatever reason, haven't hit like on this video, shared it with your friends, or subscribed to the channel. Guys, that's a crime. Fix it right now. Drop your thoughts in the comments about my PC configuration, and tell me what you'd swap out if you were building your own. See you all next time, and don't miss my upcoming Let's Plays. I'm off to install Assassin's Creed Shadows, and soon we'll find out just how badass my rig really is in battle.